Folks, it's Brian. We got to play RQG last night. We had to delay a night because we were not able to get a full quorum, which is more than 50% um, on Friday nights. But so we tried to reschedule for Saturday, and we were only short one player for that, which unfortunately is Irvana's player, and Irvana's on watch with Jarsteko. So kind of had Jarsteko's kind of play Irvana for the Brew ambush, um, which did bring up an interesting metagaming situation where he's using Nirvana's spells to support or augment or help Jarstakos, because Jarstakos got hit with a demoralized. Now Jarstakos' character knows he's got a spell on him and he's feeling this way, so he understands he's been demoralized, but Nirvana doesn't know that. So why would Nirvana cast a spell that would help remove demoralized from Jarstakos? C'est la vie. But anyway, so uh, players. Oh, and the live plays in the description, and we're playing with the new version of Owlbear Rodeo, and it was really cool. I'm still learning stuff, right? So there's the campfire, and I've got the whole area blacked out, except for the 15-foot radius, I think it was, of the campfire. So you got the campfire, a couple of the rocks the players can see, right? And I've got what I call a host computer that's showing a player's view that's then captured from my screen capture. Because if I try to use my view, you see everything. So there's a circle of what the players can see where we go. People are sleeping. Where are they? Here's the animals are tied up. Here's the chariot. That kind of stuff. And Tristako's up on top of a rock so we can be watching out. And Nirvana is just kind of near the fire. Um, when the brew, I did a couple things with brew. There's one brew who's got a fairly high move quietly, so I used that as an augmentation to the rest of the party. And then we did a party stealth roll based upon the lowest skill, but they ended up rolling like a 96 or a 97 automatic failure, so they can both hear. I did have them both the watch standards. I had both of them make listen rolls just to give an orientation and that kind of thing. Okay, yeah, over there, yeah, a handful of them. So Jarstakos, did he cast detect enemies? I don't know. No, he spoke out. He said, "Ho there!" That kind of thing, travelers or whatever. And he told Irvana to start waking people up. And so, trying to figure some personal history here. I was at officer candidate school back in I don't know when, but we have this thing called Firewatch, where every night there's somebody up for an hour. Just make sure there's nothing catching on fire, right? It's called Firewatch. Well, somebody wakes you up, get dressed, do your watch, and then when your watch is over, you go wake up the next guy. Well, the next guy that I woke up, he's looking at me in the face, talking to me. I figure he's good to go. I go back to bed. Turns out he just rolled over and back to sleep. Luckily, there were a couple of guys in the platoon who had alarm set that got up early, and then everybody kind of roused up. And yeah, it was one of those sticky situations. But so, players, right? If somebody wakes you up, are you going to wake up? Maybe not. Now, it's not Pendragon where I have you roll, lazy versus energetic, right? So, yeah. Well, I guess we could do Constitution, the fertility rune. Maybe that's an idea. But anyway, so I just say, okay, it's going to take you your deck strike ranks to kind of orient yourself and start getting up. Takes her a strike rank to move here. Two strike ranks wake him up. Strike rank move there. Two strike ranks wake him up. Um, so many strike ranks go to this other guy. So many strike ranks to wake him up, and then get to the last person, Miriam, who's the furthest away, and start to wake her up. Because of the deck strike rank thing, didn't happen during that first melee round worth of time. No, the brew, when they hear that, they charge in. So the next melee round we're doing, strike rank by strike rank because these guys are moving in, right? So statements of intent, people are getting up, they're getting ready. Somebody's grabbing a shield and their weapon. I think pretty much everybody did was grabbing shields. There was a discussion really quickly about, okay, what kind of armor can you wearing? you can sleep in almost any kind of armor, but you're going to be very fatigued if that armor is not suitable. For example, if it's rigid, it gets really uncomfortable in something that doesn't move with your body. If it's heavy, that can cause issues with breathing through the night where even though it's, that can wake you up and be, disruptive in your sleeping. So we kind of went with, hey, if you've got, light, flexible stuff, 1, 2 point leather kind of things, um, van braces and, van braces and greaves, that's probably not going to be too impeding. Other than the fact that, gets all, hot and sweaty during the day and, you want to air off and clean up at night and, skin oils and all kind of stuff. So I didn't really check on what they were wearing. Some of them had 1 or 2 points, I think, maybe. And then they throwing up protection spells and a couple of shield spells, that kind of thing. Excuse me. And, during the combat, that's what's going on. Right? So people are getting up, defending themselves. One of the players, Juchi, has sunlight, the sunlight rune spell. So he casts it on himself, which gives him shimmer too, which is a handy, but also has a 60-meter radius, is what I remember him saying. So that lit up the whole board. So, okay, take all that off. And the brewer coming around one of the trees. And so every strike rank, they're moving 3 because they're running. Moving 3. Every strike rank, people are doing stuff. Striker 1, that spell goes off. Everybody takes their deck strike rank to orient. Whoa, this bright light, get ourselves oriented again. Um, so that adds, 1 or 2 or maybe 3 strike ranks to what you were trying to do. So that pushes it down the strike rank counter. The brew hold off for their 2 strike ranks of orientation and continue charging. And they charge in, get on Damon, get on Irvana, skirting around Irvana onto Restra, and eventually one gets around to Juchi and one comes up on Miriam. So they're kind of spread out. There ends up being 2 on what turns out to be Arrestra, because her movement is she's going to move to interpose herself between Miriam, and I just kind of had a roll between her and the Brood. They both had the same dexterity, same strike rank. So who's going to get there first? She did. Um, Combat ensues. The Brew, for the most part, are just hack and slash, bang, bang, bang. Because of the way I do NPCs and the whole random thing and all this stuff I've got going on, some of them do have some spells, and 2 of them, the chieftain being one, because the chieftain right off the bat got impaled with an arrow in the leg, so he was down on a knee. So he starts throwing out demoral. He casts multi missile first, and then he starts casting demoralize, multi missile, multi spell, and then he casts demoralize. So he's targeting 2 different people with demoralize every round. Um, and there was another one who's doing the same sort of thing. So there's some duplication, right? Because they don't know who they're casting. Brew number 2 is casting on Juchi and Jarstakos because he's in the back and they're the 2 he can see. The chieftain's in front. He's throwing on Damon, who's right in front of him, and on Juchi, who shot not Juchi, but Jarstakos, who shot the arrow. So Jarstakos got hit twice. One of them he succumbed to, so he was demoralized. But the other guys didn't know that. Now, it's all happened right at once, right? So is there some waste? Well, yeah, that happens, right? You don't have instant personal communication on what's going on, so there's going to be some overlap and some miscommunication stuff happening. Um, but Jarstakos has Irvana cast, it's a rune spell, Inviolate, I think it's called, which cancels within a radius um, emotion affecting spells like fanaticism, demoralize, I would assume befuddle at this point, um, for people who are associate cults to Ernalda. So Ernalda's got a ton of associated cults. I count all the husband protectors as associated cults, right? um, but we have a Lankermite sorcerer who's not one of those, but they both have Shalana Roy in common, and so the player was kind of trying to, hey, can I through the Shalana Roy get access to this thing? No. your friends and their friends do not make both of you friends, right? Um, so people are casting buffing spells and they're attacking, and the brewer are whacking with their clubs, and except for this one, there's one brew in the back who's facing off on Juchi, who is doing headbutt all the time, and that's because he's got the chaotic um, feature of poisonous touch. Now, it so happens that the owl is flying around casting um, vigor on everybody, and so Juchi was one of the first ones. So Juchi's constitution is +8. I think it's +8. That's how you get 3 hit points, right? No, it's just +3. It is just +3 because you have +3 hit points total and +1 each location. I wasn't thinking because I keep thinking 8 for strength and charisma and the other ones, that kind of thing. Okay, vigor's different. Now remember, so his constitution wasn't that high, um, because the potency of the poison was 12, and with the +8, his it should have been +3. That's 5 different. That's another 25%. He might have had a chance of actually eating poison. 12 is kind of low, but he got hit once. Um, didn't get parried, and so the poison would have taken effect, but he made a saving throw. Other funky things going on during the combat. Oh, um, Miriam casts Iron Beak on the owl and has the owl attack. Now, I've had players using their animals to attack because they can be cannons. I mean, if you got a the cat, what's it called? The shadow cat, right? And if it gets 2 claws, plus it gets a bite, right? It's 3 attacks in a round, right? But if it gets to 2 claws, then it can rake next time, which is a lot of damage. So but they've got no armor and they've got very low hit points. You gotta be careful with that kind of thing. So the Iron Beak owl comes flying down, attack the brew. The brew parries with his club. Special parry, failed attack, whack! Bird gets hit in the head, onto the ground, -3 hit points in his head. He's going to lose a hit point around until he's gone. Bad things happen with animals, with little animals. So, um, Miriam then does a heal 3 on him and gets him stabilized, that kind of thing. Other stuff going on. Not really a whole lot. They do end up killing one of the brew. Uh, the one who had the regeneration capability, because he got hit twice in one round and went negative. Oh, one of the brew, all of the brew except for 2 are Thed worshippers. There's a Malia, there's a Malia worship in there, and a Thanatari worship in there, right? So, um, the Malia one, they're not gonna worry about using magic unless it gets really desperate. They just lost one guy, so what? Um, so I've been holding off on some of the spell casting and the nasty stuff like cause wasting disease and that kind of thing, right? But surprisingly, there's only like 2 brew that actually have disease on them. So there's a couple of people who are fighting that one. When the combat's all over, we'll go through the whole. Okay, you've been infected with this disease thing. But the Thanatari also has the create major head rune spell. So he's got this human head hanging off his belt. It's in fact an Orlanthi. I kind of rolled up an NPC for this head, and it's got some decent spells and some capability, but nothing significant that's going to really swing the tables here. And one of the things that I've noticed previously, and that I actually spoke about in the game afterwards, is the fact that bad guys generally don't have heal spells. Almost all the party have heal spells, right? So party, even if the bad guys are a higher level, um, can take down the bad guys because they can heal themselves and regenerate up. So that's kind of interesting. One of the brews got a really high constitution. I remember that being one of the special features. Oh, let me look real quick. But to do so, I need to change glasses. Getting old, it sucks. Okay. Let's see. Oh, the chieftain, when he dies, his spirit comes back to attack. He also has summon ghost as a rune spell. So if things get bad, there's going to be a ghost showing up, and then when he dies, he's coming back. That's going to be cool. Hatari mentioned about the head. Oh, the head does have heal body. He could do that. And he's got strength. He got heal 3. He can do that to himself. Anybody he's next to, but he's not really near anybody right now. And he's got shimmer on and mobility and all the standard stuff that most PCs have running all the time, right? There's the high constitution. That one's dead. What did he have? Well, he had the regeneration, that's right. But he also had the wasting disease. This guy with the poisonous touch. But he's also got disease. But the others... Oh, no! Rune number 2 does have brain fever. Okay, so there's 3 of them that have diseases. And then... 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's 6 of them, yeah. 3 who do not. One does have a confusing appearance thing, the minus 20 to hit. He's also got the shimmer on, so it's a modifier. But I kept forgetting, hey, when you attack this guy, you're at minus 25 kind of thing. He's also got strength on, which helps. Let's see. I think that's about it. All their skill rolls are in the PC range. Although there's one in there that's got his shield parry is like at 48. Don't call. Didn't investigate exactly how that happened, but it does, right? So the combat's going along. One brew is down. Everybody's been hit a time or two. Juchi lost the use of his arm. The bird went down, but I think that's pretty much about it. So that's where we ended the night. So we'll continue with this fight later. Happy gaming.